I am DYANAROZAY, and I bring a unique commentary to your favorite reality TV shows and whatever is popping on social media. If you are not a subscriber, please become one. Hit that notification bell too, that way you don't miss any of my videos. I go by DYANAROZAY on all platforms, and I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. What's up, everyone? Come on in. Child, I know this is impromptu, but I wanted to get up here real quick to talk about Tyler Perry's response to this explosive $260 million lawsuit. So come on in, everyone. I see y'all. Thank you. I know this is very impromptu. I understand, child, but I did want to get on here and give you guys the latest on this explosive $260 million lawsuit filed by an actor and screenwriter by the name of Derek Dixon. Hey, Jonetta, welcome to the platform. What's up, Indigo Girl? Go ahead and drop y'all city, state, country, wherever you are from, into the chat while I give you guys the setup real fast, okay? And we can get it started when I see more of y'all coming through. But y'all know that last night, it was a shot heard around the world. It was like a wrecking ball hit social media following a $260 million lawsuit that was filed in a superior court over in LA, California. What's up, Ty? About the Boondocks. Been told us, yes, it is very much the Boondocks. Let me tell y'all, the Boondocks is my favorite show to this day. I still watch the repeats. It is playing out exactly like that, okay? But I have some more tea to spill, so let's get it. Last night I read to y'all some of the text messages. This morning I had an opportunity to read the 46-page filing that the text messages was supposed to support. And that filing is nothing nice. It is bad. Do you hear me? It is bad. And he has gone so far to say, and by he, I mean Derek Dixon, the plaintiff, he's gone so far to say that he knows other men that Tyler Perry has done this to. And it looks like he is trying to bring people into the suit, or at least get others to help support what he's saying. Okay. So what's up, Virginia? How you doing? What's up, Trinidad, Tobago? What's up, New York? North New York. Oh my goodness. Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm sorry. What's up, Detroit, Michigan? Richmond Heights. What's up, Cleveland? Come on in. Thank you very much. Please hit the like button on your way in, child. Hit the like button, share the video, all the things. Make sure you are following me on all my platforms. What's up, Texas? Hey, LaPreece, how are you? Dallas, Fort Worth here. What's up? So y'all, listen, this is not good. Now, Tyler Perry has left a little message from one of his accounts that I'm going to play for you guys, and then I'm going to share with y'all some extra details. Okay. What's up, Tennessee? Just hit the like button. I don't mind us having opinions because, you know, we're supposed to. We're human. We have opinions. Just be respectful. That's all. Anybody that you see with a wrench behind their name, they're not here yet, but they are the moderators. They're going to make sure you have a good time in the chat. What's up, Jamaica in the building? Nice to have you. She said it's Tonya, not Tanya. What's up? So yeah, this is not the best. Okay. So I told y'all last night, the information hit, the actual lawsuit was filed on Friday, the 13th, Friday, June 13th, 2025. And it is damning. A 46-page document that is accusing Tyler of everything. And Mr. Derek said, listen, all I was trying to do is stay employed. Okay, that's it. I was just trying to stay employed. So there were some things that I read that I can't even say on YouTube, because that probably would get my channel not just struck, but taken off the platform. There's some things that's in there that is very, very, very explicit. I'm going to talk around as much as I can, okay? But I did want to say this. I wanted to show you guys what Tyler Perry said following the social media fallout, right? Everybody is like gasping and this can't be. Some people, there's a lot of people that are fans of Tyler Perry. They are fans of him, of his story. They have followed him from when he first had his stage play. Okay, God knows, I think it was Lord Knows I've Been Changed or something like that. I've gone to 2 of his stage plays. Once in St. Louis, or both times in St. Louis, actually. So we followed this man's career for a very, very long time. So this is hitting a lot of people hard, right? And this is what he had to say, or what he posted last night following a lot of the fallout that was taking place on social media.
He's got the whole world in his hands. Got the whole world in his hands. Hey, I'm just sitting here on my porch just looking. What am I looking at? I'm looking to the hills from whence cometh my help. For my help, some of y'all know the rest. I just wanted to come on and just tell everybody, just be as calm as you can.
And that's literally where it stopped. I did not edit that at all. That's literally where it stopped. Maybe he stopped to just be as calm as you can. Perhaps he, is taking his lawyer's advice and not giving way too much. But he's saying, I got the whole world. He has the whole world in his hands. And then after singing that, he said, he gave a verse from Psalms where he said, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills from whence cometh my help. And he said, some of y'all know the rest. The rest goes, my help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. So he's basically saying that God has him. And he's saying, he's basically saying, this is good. I'm in control of this. God has me. Okay. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all take that to mean that? Because that's what I took that to mean it as. Let's play it one more time, and then we're going to get into it.
What am I looking at? I'm looking to the hills from whence cometh my help. For my help, some of y'all know the rest. I just wanted to come on and just tell everybody, just be as calm as you can.
Be as calm as you can, okay? My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. That's the other part of the verse, okay? What's up, Miss Tina? Everybody say hello to Miss Tina. She is a mod volunteering her time in the chat. I appreciate you, girl. She said, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the live. Please, with prayer hands, and I agree, with prayer hands, show some support by clicking the like button. That's all y'all got to do. Click the like button, okay? Be as calm as you can. He has the whole world in his hands along with other men. Whoop. All right, child. Listen, so that happened. Like I said, the filing happened on Friday the 13th. Y'all know that this is the year 2025 where all kinds of explosive information is supposed to be given. For the next 23 years, we're supposed to be under this veil. Be careful how you move. Be careful how you walk. If you've done something in your past, start working that shit out, okay? Because this can happen to anybody. On Friday was when the lawsuit was filed. And then you guys may remember on Saturday, we got this picture right here that was literally shown on all sites. Tyler Perry is looking dead into the paparazzi camera. The guy that is on this mega yacht is how it is described, a mega yacht in the Mediterranean. The guy beside him is a dancer, used to be a dancer for Mariah Carey. And a lot of people thought that Mariah Carey was dating this guy. His name is Brian Tanica. So those two were on a yacht in the Mediterranean the day after the filing. Tyler knew that filing hit, okay? Tyler knew that the filing hit, and he's letting people know as best as he can that he's unbothered. He shared in a message last night that God has the whole world in his hands and that he is in God's hands. Okay, that's what he said in a message last night.
I'm just sitting here on my porch, just looking. What am I looking at? I'm looking to the hills from whence cometh my help. For my help, some of y'all know the rest. I just wanted to come on and just tell everybody, just be as calm as you can.
From my help cometh the Lord, which made heaven and earth. Okay, that's what he said. Let's see. Welcome, everybody. Hit the like button on your way in. I appreciate you guys. We're living in the information age. There are no more secrets. Everything shall be revealed. Well, Indigo Girl, that's very true. There's a lot of people that say things, but you also have to remember shame has kept a lot of people quiet for years. People live and die under shame, right? So we're in a different place where people are just like, it's more than just the information age. It takes a lot. I would think, just based on some of the stuff that we've seen in the past, it takes a lot for a man to go down and make these kind of charges against another man in a courtroom. But this is still all alleged. Let me put that out there. I'm going to read you guys some of the filing, but it's still all alleged. It was filed in a superior court in LA, California. It is a civil filing because that's all we can do. We can go down to the police department and say this happened to me, but it is up to a prosecutor to say this is something that we're going to take to court. They got to find just cause to say that there's enough evidence to make it stick. We don't get that. We don't get to make those decisions. The way the law has tried to balance that is by saying, okay, look for the monetary value in it. So sometimes we'll go after people by saying, you're looking for money. That's the only way. There is the prosecutor in LA County, however, has said they are doing a formal investigation. They're doing a criminal investigation to see if there's anything there. Okay. So in my opinion, Tyler has gotten too big. The industry has tried to shut him down. This lawsuit isn't giving. He's going to need more. Otherwise, Tyler should be able to sue him back for the same amount. Break. Okay, let's get to it then. I'm going to show you guys some things that I can show, and then others I'm going to have to take it off the screen because it's just too much. Okay, I'm not even making that up. I am telling you that I read it and I gasped a couple of damn times. A couple of times, okay? But I'm going to give you guys as much as I can so that you can get the full picture. And I'm going to start with this right here. So I told you guys that it is he's requesting a jury trial and that he has alluded to this happening to other men. He didn't even allude. He's point blank said it. It happened to other men without giving the names, but he's saying that he's one of many is how he placed it. Okay. So hold on. So we'll start up here at this top part. They give a description of Tyler, how he came from a modest beginning and how he is a big billionaire worth 1.36 billion. That a lot of his shows play on the Oprah Winfrey Network. So it's a lot, okay? Christian Keys was misleading. He still works with Tyler Perry. A lot of people still do. So let's get to it. Y'all see right there, this is page 3. This is the actual copy of the filing. And it said, just like Harvey Weinstein, he's comparing Tyler Perry to other producers and powerful men in Hollywood. He said, just like Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Kevin Spacey, Roger Ailes, and many others in the industry, Mr. Perry's success has led him to believe that money and influence can get him whatever he wants. That belief slowly transformed into a false idea that Mr. Perry can get whomever he wants. There are things in life that money cannot buy. Mr. Perry sought the one thing that his wealth and influence could not purchase. Are y'all getting this? And then there's some things that I'm going to have to change up the words so you guys know I can't get dinged on YouTube. But he said Mr. Perry sought one thing that his wealth could not influence and could not purchase: a intimate relationship with a man who would remain silent. Perry told Mr. Dixon that his ideal relationship would involve a male partner, a male intimate partner who he could provide for and who would be loyal but emotionally detached. Perry told Dixon that whoever ends up with me is going to be a happy motherfucker. In essence, Mr. Perry desired a one-sided, coercive dynamic with a subordinate, an arrangement devoid of mutual consent or emotional reciprocity. Thus began Perry's calculated pursuit of Mr. Dixon. Okay. Why are they volunteering their time? Who are you referring to? Tyler stole some of his beginnings from Miss Sophia from New Orleans. Oh, okay. All right, so that's part of it, child. Let's continue. I told y'all that he is saying that he has knowledge that it happened to others, right? So he said this is not Tyler's first instance of actual exploitation. He has demonstrated a troubling pattern of exploiting vulnerable male actors and employees, leveraging his industry power to create a cycle of hope and dependency. First, he offers aspiring actors the prospect of career-defining opportunities, roles that promises visibility and advancement. Then once they are in his professional orbit, he uses the weight of his influence to ensnare them, positioning their success as contingent on meeting his demands in a quid pro quo actual compromise. This pattern of behavior reveals a calculated use of professional power for intimate leverage. Okay. Now, did y'all catch that first line? He has demonstrated a pattern of exploiting vulnerable male actors and employees with an S. This was not his first instance of doing this. So he's saying it's not just me. Okay. Welcome in, everyone. Thank y'all for coming through. I appreciate that. Hit the like button, okay? Hit the like button, share this video, keep coming in. I'm reading a couple of pages from Tyler Perry, who left a statement last night. Just a small statement. He's saying he got the whole world in his hands, just a small verse, a snippet. And then he read Psalms 121, 1 and 2. Okay, where he said, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help, and my help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. Okay, so I'm going to have to cover the screen for a second until I can get to parts that I know doesn't have a whole bunch of stuff in it. Okay, so he basically shares how he ended up meeting Tyler Perry. So he starts by saying that he was that he does this to everybody. He provides vulnerable men, vulnerable. Now that's a big word, basically saying people without, people with less than, people who are eager to please, maybe, right? So he's saying, I might have played into this a little bit, but I was vulnerable. So he does this with a lot of other ones. This is what he's saying, just an FYI. So we're all on the same page. He goes on to say that there was a lot of exchanges between him and Tyler Perry. And then he gives examples saying that Tyler stated that he could fix things for other actors in film, okay? As long as they're not scared, he could fix things for them. He said that Tyler Perry, that his actual desire, Tyler Perry had a desire, physical desire for him ever since the first day they became acquainted. He knew it from the jump, is what Derek Dixon is saying. I knew it the second we met that he was attracted to me. Dixon was working as a part of an event staff for a party that was hosted by Tyler Perry. When Tyler noticed him, Perry immediately offered Dixon the chance to audition for a part in one of his TV productions. Dixon agreed and was on the set with Perry behind the camera for weeks in close quarters during the time that they were filming. Perry would send flirtatious text messages to Dixon, for example, and then they showed one. And I read these text messages last night, and it was really hard to keep up with, but y'all can see the one here. Tyler says, "Why did that photo make me jealous? You two together." Derek says, "Haha, I didn't know. It's just Brad." Tyler responds, "LOL." And then Derek says, he just wanted to go for a quick walk to get his steps in, and now I'm walking to Chipotle by myself. Tyler calls Derek thick Derek. Get that Chipotle. Child, hot mess. To me, okay, hold on. Sounds like down low bag chasers. Okay. Like I said, everybody's going to have an opinion, and we all know this because this is what happens when these kind of things come out. So I don't mind that you guys have opinion. Just make sure that y'all keep it cute in the comments with each other, because there are some people who feel very strongly that Tyler may have done it. So there's people on both sides that feel very strongly, okay? Anyway, in another text message, Perry stated to Dixon, what is it going to take for you to have guiltless intimacy with me? Basically, what is it going to take for you to have guiltless intimacy? Have y'all found that yet in therapy, that you can have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ? The plaintiff, who is Derek, carefully navigated a friendly demeanor to prevent the loss of income and opportunity. Okay, so he was trying to, basically, they're saying, juggle Tyler Perry's advances toward him by basically letting him say certain things and do certain things and just kind of gently push him away. So he's saying that he had to navigate a friendly demeanor to prevent the loss of income and opportunity. And on the other hand, try to keep a very firm boundary against Perry's advances. Interesting. Let's talk about how they met. Let me see if I can find that real fast. Hold on, bear with me. Dixon did his best to tiptoe around Tyler Perry while keeping Tyler Perry on his good side. So Derek did his best to tiptoe around Tyler and his actual aggression while keeping on Tyler's good side. Tyler made it clear to Dixon that if Dixon ignored him or failed to engage with his innuendo, his actual innuendo, that the character he had could die off on the show, is what he said. So he said that indeed, the character Dale, who was on the Oval, was pow-powed 4 times in the chest during the first season. And Perry always held that over him, that if you want to be an actor, if you want to be an actor on my show, there's certain things that you would have to do to survive. And that's keeping Tyler Perry happy. Once Perry recognized the extent of control that he had over Mr. Dixon, that's when he escalated in his behavior. And on multiple occasions, Mr. Perry's actual assault of Mr. Dixon included an instance where he forcibly pulled Dixon's clothing, groped his behind, and attempted to force himself on Dixon. Mr. Dixon told drunken Perry no and attempted to remove Perry's hands, but Perry held tightly onto Dixon's wrist. Dixon was only able to escape after de-escalating the situation by abruptly changing the subject. The day after this happened, Dixon said that Perry relentlessly tried to contact him by sending texts that said, "Tried you, call me." And then he also said, "I really need to talk to you, please, as soon as you can." Finally, when Derek Dixon called Tyler, Tyler profusely apologized to Dixon for the essay while blaming it on other things. Perry continued, "I don't know what would have made me do that. Maybe I'm self-sabotaging." On the same call where he apologized for the essay against him, he also said, "Don't worry, we're going to do your show," referring to a pilot that Tyler knew Derek had desperately wanted to produce. Okay, it's going to get worse, y'all. I see the emojis, child. It's going to get worse. Shortly after, Dixon got a call from Shortly after, Dixon got a call from Perry's lawyer after the apology and saying, "Hey, don't worry, we're going to do your show." The lawyer calls and says, "Christmas came early for you," and that Dixon was getting a substantial raise, and the show was also greenlit. So the screenplay that he wrote had been greenlit. Perry's attorney explicitly warned Dixon not to tell any of the other actors about it because none of the other actors were getting a raise. Whoa. It goes on to say that Perry kept telling Dixon that he was sorry and that it would not happen again. However, it continued. Perry would also deflect and blame the essay by saying that Dixon didn't have a strong no. Okay, so a lot of y'all heard me read some of that stuff last night. He's saying that Tyler pushed it back on him, saying, "The reason I keep coming on to you is because you don't have a strong no." Did you hear that? So he said, "You're part to blame because you don't have a strong enough no. You have to be able to say no to propositions and mean it and make it clear." Dixon didn't know how to answer that without facing retaliation or cancellation of his production contract, or perhaps being, taken off of the show permanently. So instead, Dixon made a joke out of the situation, saying, "I'll only say yes if it gets me an Oscar." In response, Perry stated, "The only one who could have gotten you that Oscar for you going through with X is in prison right now. So just stick to no unless you're really into him." Who the hell was he talking about? Oh, was it Harvey Weinstein? Maybe Harvey. Because this would have been before anything that had to do with the Diddy stuff. This was back in 2019 and 20. So maybe he's referring to Harvey, because I think Harvey was in prison by that time. Oh, yikes. So he said the only person who could have gotten you an Oscar is in prison. Okay. Oh, Perry reveals through text messages that the no he was referring to was Dixon's no in exchange for promotion in the industry, classically known as quid pro quo SA. Quid pro quo, like you get the Oscar when you do the job, okay? Perry sent this message to Dixon because that is exactly what Tyler Perry was doing. At some point, Dixon left Atlanta and moved to Santa Monica to create distance between him and Tyler Perry. However, even at long distances, Perry continued to SA Mr. Dixon. All righty. Let me get to the next part. So hold on, I'm looking at the companies. Derek Dixon, the plaintiff, defended Tyler Perry. Okay, defendant is also known as TPS Production Services, LLC, shortened as TPS, blah, blah, blah. Got it. They're talking about venue and jurisdiction. Got it. All right, let's get to how they met. Y'all with me? Okay, so factual allegations is how this is defined. They said in or around September 2019, the plaintiff, which is Derek, worked for an event company called Legendary Events in Atlanta that was hired to organize the defendant's Perry Studios opening. Oh, wow. They did open, right? During COVID. So, yeah, I remember that, I think. Anyway, he was hired to organize the party. The plaintiff was recruited by a person by the name of Tony Conway, who is the owner of the event company and a friend of Tyler Perry. Mr. Conway decided to place Dixon directly in a role at the party that required frequent conversation with Tyler Perry. The defendant, who is Tyler, picked the plaintiff out of a crowd of employees present at the party and began asking the plaintiff questions about his employment status and whether the plaintiff was an actor. In or around early October, on the last day of the party, the defendant, Perry, insisted that he and the plaintiff exchange phone numbers, and Perry subsequently texted the plaintiff to introduce himself. Tyler began asking Dixon about his dreams and aspirations. Dixon told Perry that he was interested in acting and writing. Perry then told Dixon to do an audition over the phone and send it to Perry. Dixon told Perry that he was in a Halloween costume, and Perry asked to see the picture of Dixon in his costume, and Dixon complied. When Perry saw the picture, he texted Dixon, "I was going to say, your cowboy needs a sugar daddy." Perry continued with, "You look great. You're just lacking costume parts. Sorry, don't want to offend." Dixon responds, "Not at all. It's so true. It's a half-ass costume." To which Perry replies, "What's true? that the cowboy needs a sugar daddy, implying that Perry wanted to be Dixon's sugar daddy. Okay, let me just say this. I might giggle a little bit because these are, look, this kind of conversation isn't something that I read every single day. So just know that I'm not trying to be insensitive to anybody. It's just funny for my mouth to say these words. Okay. So just, if you hear me giggle, I'm not laughing at anybody's pain. Just know that my brain is just trying to, it's a little embarrassing to even read. Okay. That's the only way I can explain it. This isn't something you would read every day. Yo, cowboy need a sugar daddy, child. Nobody talks like that I know. Anyway, it goes on to say that Dixon quickly shut down those comments by reiterating what he had said earlier, which is, it's the truth. The costume is lacking parts. Oh, Lord. Shortly after, Dixon's boss at the legendary events place called Dixon and told him that Tyler Perry was having another event, this time in Los Angeles, and specifically requested Dixon to fly from Atlanta to LA on the event. Excited for the opportunity to fly to LA, Dixon was flattered and jumped at the opportunity to meet Perry again. Okay, I'm gonna need everybody to know. Hold on, let me see. Good morning, Maroons. Come on in, everybody. Thank you so much. Keep hitting that like button on your way in, everybody. Hit the like button, share the video, become a subscriber if you are not already. So this is the first exchange of conversation, and this is before a job was even offered, right? Doesn't the boundary get set here or no? I'm not sure. But if this is your first time meeting him, the role that you are in is, I guess, the manager of the event. You're not even working for him. There's no employment offer here. You're not working. You're working for Tyler at this event space, but not on TV, right? Am I getting this confused? Because this is how they're saying they met, that he was simply at the event space. They start sharing texts with each other. He asked to see his costume. I mean, they're talking to each other about stuff, but he's not actually employed as an actor. Got it. So now we are at the event. Shortly after doing the event on November 3rd, 2019, defendant Perry sent plaintiff several text messages that he would love to find Derek a job and change Derek's life, insisting that they should make it happen. Perry sent Dixon what turned out to be an ominous warning. He said, "Be careful hanging around me, because I cause dreamers to dream bigger. I cause them not only to believe, but to do. Then let's make it happen. You're an artist. You have to be fulfilled. Nothing else will suffice." Ooh. The very next day, Perry sent an email which contained an offer for the plaintiff. Play the role of Dale in Tyler Perry's series, Ruthless. Perry said that it was a small role that could get bigger, thereby setting up the first stage in a series of escalating quid pro quo offers. At this point, Dixon did not know that Perry, what? At this point, Dixon did not know that Perry was interested in men or that he was looking for an intimate relationship with him. Dixon assumed that Tyler was genuinely a caring person who discovered the talent that Dixon always felt he had. For Sean, for show, okay? Could Jesus please come in and take this wheel? I'm gonna need Jesus to take the wheel as well. All right, I just need a poll. Did Hey, Erica, did nobody else think that maybe he was flirting with him a little bit? Or do you think that if you were in the same position and this conversation was happening, would you think, oh, this is just, funny, I guess funny back and forth? Or would you think that he was flirting with you if he said you need a sugar daddy to go with your cowboy? I'm asking, child. I don't know. I'm asking. 456 of you are here. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Hit that like button for me, though. Hit the like button, share the video, okay? We are going through some of these documents. We listen to these stories a lot from women who will say, listen, I wanted to be X, Y, and Z. The thought of being an actor or singer or whatever these things are was so lucrative that, yeah, I let this person flirt with me a little bit and I thought I could control it. I thought that I could handle myself with this person. I didn't expect it to get all the way to here, right? So now we're hearing it coming from a man who was employed with Tyler Perry. I have to admit, I've never seen Ruthless. I've never seen The Oval. I've not seen either one of those shows. But I'm asking because often, and I will say that I am guilty of this as well, I always feel like men are usually a little more firm in making sure they don't get themselves caught up like this. Not that they can't, because that can happen. But sometimes I guess we, based on shit that we read in the news or see on TV shows, or sometimes even books, it shapes our thoughts around these kind of situations. And we don't always see people as, as having a real human experience, right? So I'm trying to look at this from all sides. But you know what I'm saying? Okay. Not everybody has the strength to say no. Like, I know what type of household I was brought up in. And we used to have to role play. And I'm not even joking. If somebody does this to you, what are you going to say? How are you going to handle it? Like, it was that type of thing. You know what I mean? I'm starting to see things differently now with the new information. These gatekeepers may be causing harm to people that just want to make a good living and an honest living. Okay. I'm like I said, this happens to everybody. There's people in power, and sometimes they may take advantage of that power. I do want to again say all of this is alleged. These are allegations that was put in a document. There is a formal criminal investigation that the LA County said they were going to undergo, but none of this stuff has been proven. Okay. Imagine him saying that to you. That's definitely aggressive flirting. As a woman, if he said this to me and he's Tyler Perry, I would say, oh, Tyler Perry is flirting with me. I would definitely think it. I wouldn't think, oh, he's just being nice. I would think this is flirty. This is flirty. I would think that he wanted something more for sure, or at least that he wanted me to think it. Whether or not he, pushed another button, I would get on the phone and be like, girl, you will never believe what Tyler Perry just said to me, child. Like, we are going to be talking about it all night long. You feel me? Okay, let's move on. The very next day, the defendant Perry sent an email which contained an offer for the plaintiff to play a role of Dale in Perry's series Ruthless. And Perry said that it was a small role, but it could get bigger, thereby setting up the first stage in a series of escalating quid pro quo offers. At this point, Dixon did not know that Perry was interested in men or that he was looking for an intimate relationship with Dixon. Dixon assumed that Perry was genuinely a caring person who discovered the talent that Dixon had always felt he had. Dixon's film roles in Ruthless in mid-November went back to his job. Okay, Dixon filmed his roles in Ruthless in mid-November, then went back to his job as an event staff for the legendary events. If anybody has seen Ruthless in the chat, please let me know if y'all thought that Dixon, the Dale character, was good. If y'all seen it, put it in the chat if y'all thought Dixon is good. Now, I do remember his face on screen, like, for promo, and I thought he's handsome, but let me know what y'all thought. If anyone has seen these shows, the acting was very questionable. Oh, wow. Is it possible that Dixon knew and that he was trying to see how far he can take it? Yeah. All right. No, it would frustrate me. Hey, Samantha. Welcome to the chat, girl. So anyway, let's move on. Approximately a month later, remember, Derek is working back at the event place, right? But a month later, Perry brought and gave Dixon a new car. He had hated Dixon's Jeep. Dixon was surprised and elated by this gift, and Dixon had no idea that he was being set up by Perry for extreme dependence. What the fuck? In December of 2019, Dixon was requested to be a part of a event staff. This is another event that Tyler Perry was hosting at his home in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. After that event, Perry started frequently sending text messages, making phone calls, and demanding that Dixon give Perry some attention. Now, I know what that means as a woman. When a man buys us something big like a car, I know what that means for us. I that's the stuff you talk about, right? Girl, if he bought you that damn car, you know what? Look, open the door, open them legs. That's the conversations that is had with us. But Dixon said that he just hated my car. He hated the Jeep I was driving. And, he was just being nice. And he bought me a new car. And this was the setup. He said this was the setup for extreme independence. Now this is moving quickly because it was September, October. We had the party in November, and now we're in December of 2019. Within the span of, because it actually was October, November, December, and within the span of 3 months, because it doesn't tell us exactly what part of December, but we know that he met him. He flirted with him. He bought him a new car. He put him in a TV role. And December of 2016, Dixon was requested to be a part of another event that was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. This is inside of Tyler Perry's home. And Perry frequently is sending him text messages and phone calls and demanding that he gives him some attention. On New Year's Eve of 2019, so December 30th, 31st, Tyler Perry texted Dixon, "I can't tell you the last time I pumped gas or went to a supermarket or flew commercial or packed a bag or had good relations, good ex. It was before I was rich." Dixon found these messages to be strange and untowardly coming from someone like Tyler Perry. But being new to the industry, Dixon played along by downplaying the actual comments and hoping that being around Perry would allow him to showcase his talents as an actor and a writer. Y'all, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think. And I'm just going to be straight up with y'all. Okay. This is just me telling you about my upbringing as a woman. Okay. And you know how people say that Everybody got to have that talk with their boys about meeting the police and stuff like that. If you have these this was a conversation that was had with every woman in my mama's family. Okay. If you had brought something into that house that was, you could tell it was expensive and blah, 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 you was about to get the lecture of your damn life. You feel me? Like, I don't know. First of all, do men buy other men cars and you're not understanding what that means? How is that possible? One could argue that Derek is assuming TP's attention. Again, this is not clear in the text, cannot rule out heavy flirting. Okay, so some of you are saying, listen, this is still really just heavy flirting. Okay. This is what makes reading stuff like this a little harder, because you don't always have the full picture, because we don't know how much time has passed between these texts or phone calls, even though he said he did step up the phone calls. He did step up the text messages. He's thinking, if I'm going to put myself in his shoes and say that maybe he's just a little naive about things, maybe he's thinking, this man saw this talent in me, wanted to take me under his wing, wanted me to live a certain part. So giving me a new car and all that stuff was just him being really, really nice. Okay, someone else says it's giving he played with fire, got too close, and then once the flame started, he couldn't put it out. This story sounds familiar. Dixon played a game to see if he could get what he wanted. Okay, a lot of popcorn emojis, child. Let's move on. Soon after Dixon began giving Perry more attention, Perry made his move on Dixon. This is courting. This is what courting is all about. In July of 2020, this is moving very quickly. Just a few months after making his first acting gig, Perry invited the plaintiff to his home in Douglasville County. That's in Georgia. The plaintiff showed up to the home hoping that he would be given a chance to befriend Perry and show him how talented of an actor that he was. At Perry's home, Dixon was served many alcoholic drinks, which Perry also partook in. And Dixon felt that Perry was genuinely interested in Dixon's talents as an actor and as a writer. Perry made no advances at Dixon while they were drinking, and the conversation was simply friendly. At the end of the night, Perry told Dixon not to drive home. Perry said it was dangerous and Dixon was too inebriated to drive. Dixon agreed and he was escorted by Perry to a separate guest room, not knowing that this was a ruse to allow Perry to SA Dixon. Dixon was tired and did not have pajamas, so he got into bed wearing only his undies, his underoos. Patricia said, it sounds like a setup to me. That's sad. He wanted to be great and successful. My God. Okay. Okay, let's keep reading. So he said that he didn't have pajamas. He got in with just his little undies on. And then before he knew it, he felt someone else slip in behind him, into the bed behind him. And that person started rubbing his body and around the inner thigh. And it was very suggestive. And he turned around to see who it was and saw it was Tyler. And at this point, his stomach starts to turn. He begins to feel nauseous. Now, remember, he's also very, very drunk, he said. And, I guess he may have been like about to go into a fast sleep. And before he could get them eyes all the way shut, that's when this allegedly happens. He begins to feel nauseous. Instinctively, he jumps out of the bed and he tells Tyler he's conscious enough in the drunken state to not offend Tyler. He simply said that he wasn't an actual being. Okay, you understand? I'm not actual, is what he says. This is a person who is trying to go to sleep, very, very drunk, in the bed, pops out of the bed, and just says, I'm not actual. That's it. So he was of clear mind enough to try to let him down easy, I guess. That would be the way to describe it. Okay. Tyler ignored the comments that Dixon was saying to him. And instead, Tyler, who I'm assuming is laying in the bed, he says, turn around. Okay. Let me see what you're working with. And then he told him that he had a beautiful body. I'm assuming that he turned around because it doesn't say he didn't. So he turned around so he can see him. And then he says again, I'm not into not physical intimacy with Tyler. He said, I'm just not into physical intimacy, period. I'm just not that kind of person. Okay. He lives like a monk is what he's saying. I don't do it. I don't do those things. Okay. Are y'all picking up what this man is laying down? Dixon once again told Perry that he was just not into it. Dixon kept informing Perry that he wasn't into it in order to keep Perry at bay, while at the same time not insulting the person who was dangling his career in front of him. So he's saying, listen, this was my dream career. All I wanted to do is not hurt his feelings. Okay? Come on through, everybody. Uppity, uppity, I see you. Few things in life that are more traumatic than a person being in your personal path to fulfilling your destiny than have it thrown from it by someone you looked up to. Okay. I appreciate everybody's opinions coming through. This man sounds like sounds like he's asexual, like the late Langston Hughes. That's the word I was looking for. He's asexual. This is what he's saying. I don't know if it's true, because what he's saying here on the screen is, I just wanted him to think this, that he's like, maybe if I say these things, this will allow him to respect my space, put a healthy boundary between us so that I don't just come out and insult him, right? But he's giving him things and he's accepting them. He's accepting the big gifts. He's accepting the other things as well. So there's a lot at play here. Everybody come on through. 524 of y'all, hit the like button, please and thank you. Okay? And be respectful in the chat with each other, because I know that y'all all have different opinions. So anyway, in response to Dixon's frequent assertions that Dixon was not into X, right? He's saying, I'm asexual. And he said that he frequently shared that with Tyler Perry. Perry started prying further. Perry would send Dixon a text message saying, I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you, and you are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me, I hope that you get past that block in your mind soon. Perry was implying that Dixon would hopefully get past the block in his mind that would let Tyler Perry make love to him. Okay. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm switching back and forth between screens, so I might not always see people come through the chat. So please understand, I'm not always looking at your comments. I'm trusting that you guys are doing what you need to do. But just in case someone comes through and is like, hey, and I don't see you, I don't want you to think that I'm purposely ignoring you. Okay. I'm actually going back and forth between screens. Okay. Um, After the essay in January, Dixon felt betrayed. Perry continued to call and text Dixon every day to talk to him even more. Dixon ignored Perry, which led to Perry texting Derek saying, "Why don't you text me more?" The more Dixon ignored Perry, the more aggressive Perry became until finally Perry offered Dixon a part in a new show called The Oval. So he's saying Dixon said, "I was ignoring him," and then he gives him another acting opportunity in order to get him to be on his side, right? Dixon was intrigued and was hoping that this would be his big break, the one that he was looking for, and a chance for him to display his acting talent. On February 11th, 2020, Perry told Dixon to quit his job at the event company and come and work for him. Work for him exclusively. Perry was not able to control Dixon so long as Dixon had a secondary income that was providing for his basic needs. Dixon did decide to quit his job due to his role on the Oval. So, okay, y'all, drinking my coffee and laughing. It sounds to me that at some point he was aware that he wanted more, right? He was aware that he wanted more, but now he's dangling a bigger carrot in front of him, and he has not established a stronger boundary with him. He's still kind of juggling these advances. Once Dixon quit his job due to his role on the Oval, Perry started getting more personal with Dixon, knowing that Dixon was now under his control. Perry would often say things like, "I give and I give, and no one ever does anything for me in return. No one ever gives me what I want or what I need," implying that Dixon was not giving him the physical intimacy that he was looking for. Perry started asking Dixon about Dixon's preferences. Do you like men or women? What role Dixon took on when engaging in actual acts. Are you a top or a bottom? Huh. Well, he said he was asexual, I thought. But he's asking him, what role do you take on? Are you a top or are you a bottom? Meaning, do you like to give or do you like to receive? If it was a gay relationship. Perry further indicated that Dixon had, hold on. Perry further indicated to Dixon that he himself had had relationships with men, and Tyler told him that he was a top. Oh, yikes. Tyler also said that when you have a big D and you hit that G spot just right, that bottoms go crazy. Perry further told the plaintiff that he wanted a man who was already in a relationship with another individual, someone that he could be emotionally involved in and engaged in, but he wanted to only have the physical relationship, a friends with benefits type of relationship, because Tyler did not have time to deal with the emotional aspects of any type of relationship, only physical. Despite these comments, Dixon knew that a full-throated refusal would land him in the doghouse and might result in his role being cut from the Oval. Fearing that his career would end before it began, Dixon put up with these comments and continued to maintain that he was not the actual type. On or around March of 2020, this is happening so fast. Oh my goodness. On or around March of 2020, Dixon received the script for The Oval. He was written in as a season regular, and therefore expected to quit his job with legendary events. Well, you just said that you quit the job, dude. Okay. Dixon's character was written as a gay, homeless, and desperate store clerk who had to sleep with one of the other characters for a place to stay. More importantly, at the end of the season, his character would be pow-powed 4 times in the chest, and Dixon felt that this was a way for Perry to test Dixon out for a year to see if he would be loyal to Perry. So I'm assuming at the end of the season, he wanted to see what Dixon would do in order for him to bring this character back, or basically say there was a funeral service for the character. Lord have mercy. Hey, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Has anyone seen The Oval? If you saw The Oval, tell me if you thought that was a good show, or if you think that's a good show. Because this is what he's saying. He's saying, listen, I did the season, and at the end of the season, my character is pow-powed, and he holds this over my head to say, I could bring you back if you play ball, but if you don't, we can just call it quits. This is how I do it. This is what Derek Dixon is alleging. Okay? Have y'all seen it? Some people said yes. It's a very good show. Shantae said that was not so good show. That was a horrible show. A lot of people are saying they love the show, child. So y'all like Derek's character? Okay. It was until it got crazy. Okay. Damn. Anyway, when Dixon asked Terry about the pow-powing, he was like, look, am I coming back? What's going on? Perry indicated that if Dixon did a good job, that Dixon would be back, and that the pow-powing didn't necessarily mean that Dixon's character was out of the script for future seasons. He said it was only in the chest, not in the head. So there's an opportunity for you to return. Lord. Dixon immediately understood his job security depended on a relationship from Perry. From this point on, Dixon worked with the constant fear of losing his job, and if he did not engage with or endure Perry's SA and harassment. Shortly after giving Dixon the news, and after telling Dixon that future seasons were dependent on his doing a, quote, good job, unquote, that's when Tyler invites Dixon to his Atlanta home. Oh my goodness. Dixon asked questions and tried to wiggle his way out of the invitation because he remembered what happened the last 2 times the 2 of them were alone. However, Dixon knew that his job security and income and his livelihood depended on his attendance. So he knew that when he was beckoned, he said he had to answer. Damn it. The plaintiff had seen other employees of Perry's who had experienced sudden, and he put it in quotes, deaths, but he's saying that the character would actually be expired from the show after they got on Perry's bad side. He said that was very common practice for Tyler Perry. Lord, has anyone, none of the shows that I watch, I don't think I've seen anyone get expired off of the show. Someone said he couldn't just get another job. No, because I think his first acting job was with Tyler. This is his first role ever. This is what it sounds like. He talked to him. He said, I want to be an actor. He tells him about a play or something that he wrote, a screenplay. And look how quickly all of this is happening. November, December, January. Like, this is happening so quick. This is probably like the fastest thing I've ever seen. There's no slowing down. He's now being asked to be at his house, and he said, I already know what's going to happen. I've been there twice before, both times, or the last 2 times we were alone, it was not, he didn't like it, right? So now he's saying he's being asked to come back again. And this time, after Tyler tells him, if you do a good job, you can continue on the show. Otherwise, your character is going to be expired. After saying this to him verbally, he says, are you, come on by the house real quick. Come on to the crib, okay? Come over to the crib, and yeah, we'll take care of things. It says Perry. This is an actual statement on the filing. Perry made it very clear to Dixon that he wouldn't expire his character if Dixon was loyal or obedient as an actor. So when Dixon arrived to his house, he did go. Tyler had gave Dixon a very warm welcome. Very friendly welcome is how it's put here. And soon after, Perry started asking Dixon a slew of actually charged questions, even asking if Dixon liked it rough. Okay. I'm reading ahead so that I don't say anything that I'm not supposed to. But after asking if he liked it rough, I guess Perry took it upon himself to show him what he meant. And he grabbed him around his neck physically. It's described as very aggressive. And he goes on to say that Tyler says, wow, look how excited you got. You do like it. You like that. That's when Dixon said he was horrified. He was shocked. He was in a panic. He said that he never thought that Tyler could get this cray-cray, another way to say it. And he's saying basically that he didn't like it. Dixon did not enjoy. He did not consent to any of this conduct. Dixon was shocked, and he took steps to immediately de-escalate the situation. Okay, y'all got that? I watched the show and he was in, and I can tell you that he can't act. Okay. Why would he ask, what do you mean, rather than just saying no? Okay, I'm going to tell you, Trey, I was thinking this too. Like, it feels like it's going to keep escalating, but I think instead of saying I'm not that way, maybe just say no. How about just a no and see what would happen? Because he keeps leaving the door open for more to happen. It feels and sounds like. This is just my opinion. I'm not a jury, child. I'm just giving my opinion. Tyler is at war with himself. Everybody who keeps saying Dixon could have gotten away have never been under TP type of power. Ty, I have to tell you, I agree that when people are under a certain, you got money coming in, things like that, there's certain things that happen. Okay, let's continue the reading. Y'all can keep hitting the like button, please, and thank you. Like the video, share it, become a subscriber if you are not already. Okay, so he's saying, look, I'm all the way in. I'm a part of the show now. I got a full-time role. I quit my other job. I'm financially dependent on this man. I've tried to, gently tell him no, but he's saying that he's not taking the no as an answer. Now, the onset of C-19 happened. It's the pandemic. This happens in March of 2020, and filming on the Oval has been postponed indefinitely. Okay, so they're trying to figure out if filming should continue or, put the safeguards in place so that it can continue, right? So most likely the safeguards. So during the period of which filming for the Oval was postponed, Tyler would make FaceTime calls and other contacts to Dixon almost every day, treating Dixon as his on-call, quote, pet. Treating Dixon as his on-call pet. Dixon felt obligated to answer for fear of losing his role, his income, and his career. Perry often asked Dixon about his whereabouts, demanding that Dixon respond immediately. And when he didn't, Perry would send messages to Dixon that was in all caps and all kinds of exclamation points behind it. So he's kind of screaming his name, Derek. And then he makes the comment, grr, grr, like a growl. And then saying things like, what are you doing? In exclamation points. So he didn't like that, he wasn't responding to him. So additionally, Perry was jealous of anyone who Dixon had a relationship with. Tyler told Dixon that if Dixon got C19 from his roommate at the time, because he had a roommate that he was living with, he said, if you catch it, then you're not going to be able to shoot the oval. So he encourages Dixon to move into one of his on-set studio houses owned by Perry, where Perry would have more control over Dixon's whereabouts. Oh, wow. Okay, now I do know that there is on-set housing, and I think that he had asked, to be fair, I don't think it was just him, because I remember other people saying that they live on set and that they had to make sure that they didn't go off set. I remember, because I watch other shows, and I remember cast members from other shows saying that. So it wasn't just him in this instance, but he's telling him, you need to stay on the actual studio set, on Tyler Perry Studios, which is a huge, what is that? It was some sort of a world, WW2 maybe, military base. And he has turned it into his studio. So the grounds there has a lot of property. All right, let's continue. Derek Dixon said that he felt obligated to answer for fear of losing his role, his income, his career. I said all that. Okay, so thereafter, Perry would text the plaintiff about other actors on his show. Like, for instance, he would talk to him about his castmates on Ruthless. Perry told Dixon how he manipulated employees through ruthless retaliation. Perry told Dixon that if he did not like the way an actor behaved or the way an actor was acting, that the character would simply be expired in the next season. Okay? You don't do what I say, back to the unemployment line. Okay? That's how Dixon is expressing this. Dixon understood that Perry was informing him to be cautious about disappointing him or upsetting him. And as a result, Dixon continued to put up with Perry's suggestive messages and advances while doing his best to protect himself by taking notes and amassing evidence of SA and keeping the old text messages. So he's fully aware of that this is what it is. He's fully aware that he's in it. And he's saying, listen, I'm going to continue with my job. I like my job. I like what I do. I like my compensation. This is my career. But he's also at this point documenting. He's documenting, and he says, one of us is going to have to figure this shit out. If you keep this up, if you don't lay off, I'm going to have to do what I need to do. Uppity said that Tyler Perry is a huge man with a looming presence and a lot of power. Don't let Medea fool you. He's very big. I told you I went to 2 plays, and he is huge. I think he stands 6'4", maybe over 6'4", and he is physically, he's physically like a stunning person to look at, like physically, like, wow, he's big, right? Anyway, So he says that now I'm keeping everything. At this point, he knows what this shit is. I'm keeping it. In one conversation, he's keeping it, but he doesn't let Tyler Perry know he's keeping it. In one conversation in or around April of 2020, Perry told Dixon that Perry imagined Dixon prancing around in a cowboy outfit and that Perry did things. Okay. And that Perry was doing things to Dixon that he couldn't talk about. So he's telling him what he's imagining. Also, in and around April 20th, while Dixon was living in the studio home on Tyler Perry's set, Perry often coerced Dixon into drinking and then getting on the phone with Perry. Perry would frequently have someone drop off alcohol at Dixon's door, and then Perry would eventually turn these phone calls into, over the top rants. He basically would get live with Derek and just, let anything come out of his mouth about physical relationships. Perry would get frustrated with Dixon and tell Dixon that he was not giving Perry what he needs. So Perry is screaming on Dixon saying, "You ain't giving me what I need. I done gave you this TV role. I done bought you this car. What is this? What is going on? Okay. You need to get yourself together." Dixon refused to succumb to Perry's advances. And Perry would get even more frustrated. Eventually, again, this is all alleged. Eventually, Perry warned Dixon that if he told any of his castmates about what the two of them had going on, the things that he was saying to him, Dixon would open himself up to questions and foolishness and demanded that Dixon not discuss any of their conversations. So it sounds like he's saying, you're going to open yourself up to questions and foolishness, as in no one's going to believe you. Okay, so that's someone who's pushing their weight and saying, I'm somebody, you're nobody. If I'm going to, read between the lines here. And that's what he's saying to him. You're opening yourself up to craziness. So just keep it to yourself. Whatever we're doing, keep it to yourself. He will be blackballed for sure. This is why he's probably asking for 260 million. Okay. Because he's saying, listen, at the end of the day, we're about to bring this shit to light, right? Thank you, C. Evans, for the super sticker. I appreciate you for blessing the channel. If anybody else would like to donate, feel free. We're going through these papers, child. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button. And I am trying to, because I can't say everything, but I am giving you guys a colorful alternative so that you can catch up, okay? But thank you guys. Thank you, C. Evans, for blessing the channel. It goes on to say that Perry upped the stakes by telling Dixon point blank that he was not to tell anyone about their friendship. Perry told Dixon that it should remain a secret and that he tried to make it seem like this was a secret for Dixon's benefit. Perry continued to SA and harass. On June 27th, 2020, Perry texted Dixon that all he wanted for his birthday was biscuits and BJs. Y'all know what a BJ is. All I want is biscuits and BJs. But that all Perry ever received was biscuits, insinuating that a request for OS from Dixon. So basically he's saying, are you able to comply? The text was followed by other messages calling Dixon cute and a cutie, and that Perry was just thinking about him. Despite these advances, Dixon continued to act professionally and continued to tell Perry that he simply just wasn't into the act. I don't like it, okay? It's not for me. He's a monk. Leave me alone, okay, is what he's saying. That seemed to be the only way to keep Perry at bay while continuing with his job. All right, now we're in July of 2020. Every single month of this man's meeting since he met Tyler has been just a fast drive to, lay him down. So now we are in July of 2020. Perry remarked how much he loved the script for Dixon's TV series called Losing It. So y'all remember, Dixon is also a writer. He has given his writings to Tyler. It's called Losing It. And now we're in the month of July, and he's saying, listen, Tyler gives me this call. He says that he loves it. He says he wants to shoot the pilot. And it goes on to say that he never really did anything to help meet that goal. He was just saying things to Dixon to make him more dependent on Perry, and also doing things so that he could later, basically do that quid pro quo exchange. Like, oh, by the way, I got this script, don't forget. And then see if he would respond to his advances. In or around August of 2020, Dixon and his castmates begin shooting for the Oval after delays due to C-19, during which time all castmates and crew lived on set. So yes, I do remember that. I remember everybody lived on set. Everybody lived on set. Welcome, everybody. Hit the like button. We are just going through this 46-page document that was filed on June 13th, Friday the 13th. And it is a doozy, child. What I can tell you is that Dixon is aware at this point that Tyler is advancing him, right? He's flirting with him, but he is working for Tyler's shows. And he says that he's in fear that Tyler is going to pull the rug from up under him if he doesn't answer to his advances. So he is now documenting their conversations, documenting their text messages, everything. And he knows what it is. He knows it's SA. Okay. So let's go. Perry confided in Dixon that two castmates were pissing him off, and Perry swore that he knew how to fix this shit, is what is in quotes. I know how to fix this shit. Perry added that he loves killing a motherfucker off, okay, in a TV show that no one expects. You piss me off, you're on the unemployment line. All I have to do is kill off the character. In other words, he's saying we ain't never gonna fix it. There's no chance for you to come back. You are written out of my show. And he tells Dixon that this is what he does to everyone who doesn't know how to get in line. That's a damn shame. Perry stated in one of the texts, I may need to do the pow pow early. So he's saying that there is a part in the episode where there's going to be a shootout, and Tyler said, I might just need to write this in early, like the first or second episode, just in order to get this person off of the set. So he's letting him know, this is how serious I am. I will shut this whole motherfucker down, okay? Dixon understood exactly what he meant, and he was speaking about this over other actors. He knew that those other actors were going to be expired with the show. Perry intentionally made these comments to instill fear into Dixon. Dixon now knew that he too would lose his job if he didn't play ball with Tyler Perry's advances. He said this is what Perry had been setting up all along. Dixon was now fully reliant on Perry for an income. His hope, his future aspirations were all in Perry. And Perry made it clear that if Dixon did not disclose, or excuse me, Perry made it clear that Dixon was not to disclose the relationship to anyone else, and that Dixon was aware that Tyler Perry would expire him from the show for good, thereby ending a career that really just got started. His career was started by Tyler, and it was going to end with Tyler. He said, "Don't get on my bad side." To top it off, Dixon already knew that his character had been pow-powed 4 times at the end of the first season. So he said he might have been letting him know that the pow-powing was fatal and he may not be coming back. Somebody said, "I'm howling." Child, what are you howling about? Let me look. I need to laugh. I'm going to have to take a shower after this. Okay. Anyway, in July of 2020, Perry read the script of Dixon's pilot, and in July of 2020, Perry read Dixon's pilot, his screen writing, right, for the show. And told Dixon that he loved the show so much that he wanted to shoot the pilot for it. Dixon did not know that Perry never intended on shooting the show. Perry knew that he could use this as motivation to get Dixon to stop resisting for the actual gratification that Perry craved. This is written so disgusting, honestly. I mean, I'm sure it was disgusting, but they definitely want the person who's reading it to feel that way too. So once the stage was set and Perry knew that he could get away with it, during the filming of The Oval, he was like, you didn't got the bug. You didn't got the acting bug. You know that I hold your future in my hands. This is what he's basically saying. That on top of that, he's also saying, I got your screenplay. I'm the answer to your dreams. All you have to do is what I tell you to do, right? So he's saying that following that, there was a severe and pervasive tirade of actual commentary that included but was not limited to things like, you like being choked. You like being choked like the same way the character did in the scene on the Oval. Why do you twist your hips when you walk? How can I get a day of Dixon? When will you be thick again? I love how I feel right now, but I don't like being horny. I feel sorry for the person that flirts with me. I feel sorry for the first person who flirts with me. Yikes. I've been trying to put that energy somewhere else, but everything is actual on this stuff. That snake across the table made me think of the Nicki Minaj, oh my goodness, the music cover for Nicki Minaj's song Anaconda. He said that it made him think of the male parts that was symbolized by the snake. Okay. Then he says, I will gladly put my hands around your throat right now in an actual way. He also suggested that Dixon should get braces, but behind his teeth. He said if that was the case, so Tyler Perry says, you should get braces behind your teeth. But if you do, I'm going to have to give up BJs because that could be very dangerous for me, especially if they're not. Oh my God. Wait a minute. He's actually speaking as if they've had a relationship at this point. Damn. Okay, let me get through this part because this might be too racy. He said that he wants to work him out of his pants. In a photograph, what? Okay, so now Perry has taken in this part, he's saying that Perry actually would take pictures of him. So Perry would take pictures of Derek while Derek was on set and then send those pictures that he took of him by text message and describe him as beautiful. Oh, here's a picture of you. You're so beautiful. This is creepy. Okay. The series of comments and other unwanted references made Derek Dixon highly uncomfortable. Dixon was caught in a bind. He couldn't complain to anyone in HR. He had no one to turn to for relief from these advances, and he didn't know if he could endure it. If he didn't, he would be expired from the show. At this point, he said, I didn't know if I should joke back or just rebuff the harassment he was enduring. He also said that Perry would share intimate details. What page am I on? Damn. He would share intimate details of his own life, of his own escapades, things that he would do with others. He would share that with him. And he would tell him that he didn't have a very good intimate life since he became rich. That sometimes there would be times where he wouldn't have a relationship for months at a time. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure, child, because there were some parts that was really explicit. I just kind of skimmed through it, though. I don't want to say something I'm not supposed to. So it sounds like he's kind of upped the game a little bit by saying, calling him attractive and things like that. And then it says that at one point he just asked him point blank, "Are you attracted to me?" And he demanded that Dixon answer him. The plaintiff reiterated the same way he had did with the first one. He said that he would just skirt around the question. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get to another part. So he would skirt around it. He would deflect to not answer the question at all, or he would just try to remain neutral. He was looking and inventing new ways to avoid Tyler Perry's interrogations, while at the same time worried about his future on the Oval. Okay. So now he is in a situation where he's talking to Tyler. He is at Tyler's, I guess, in a trailer with Tyler. Some people think money is everything. Yeah, it does sound like they had some type of actual exchange. I'm not sure what the way he that last part read, it sounded like there was something that happened, but I'm not sure. So, because then after that, it said that he just did everything that he could to avoid it. So now he's saying that he is in a trailer, like a on set, in one of the sets on trailer, and he said that he was trying to leave. Dixon got up and the two exchanged goodbyes. So he kept trying to dodge things like that. But then he stands up to say goodbye. And as he was leaving, Tyler got up and pinned him to a wall. Ooh. And it says that he started aggressively groping him and basically letting him know what he wanted or expected. Okay. Touching him in places that he should not have touched. And it said that this could not have been a mere accident. This was something that was definitely done on purpose, right? He said that he stood up in horror and he did not reciprocate or fight back. Dixon did not reciprocate or fight back. He said all he could do was go limp. And that after Tyler saw that he had no desire, Tyler just said, listen, I'm drunk. And then he told Dixon to leave his trailer. Ooh, boy. I don't know if you can make this up. This is a lot. This reads how his characters read. This does parallel his character on the Oval. Does it really? Are you serious? Huh. Are y'all saying that this is a storyline on the Oval? I've never watched that show. I'm trying to this is bad though. I don't think this is good. What year was this? 2020. We're in July of 2020 now. If you've been harassed this way, hold on. Let me see what you said. If you've been harassed this way, you know you should not have to quit your job because someone is touching you. That's messed up. That's very true. You're right. You're right. We sometimes forget, it takes money and it takes money to keep a roof over your head, food on your table, clothes on your back. And sometimes when you get blackballed, this is a career that he's saying that I wanted, that he broke into with Tyler, and that if he, didn't try to leave this in a way that it wouldn't mess up his dreams, because he would have been blackballed after. That's what it sounds like he's saying. But at this point, again, he's saying that I was able to, he's saying he started documenting everything. So now Tyler tells him to leave. He says, listen, I'm drunk. Just get out my trailer, right? And as soon as Derek left, Dixon became severely nauseous, extremely anxious about his job, his career, his livelihood. He said that he felt trapped within the confines of the studio quarantine bubble because they are under quarantine. He can't even leave the actual studio. He has to stay. Anybody who left would they wouldn't be allowed to come back, is what I'm understanding. I think I remember other actors talking about having to stay on set and that they were being taken care of. There was still another shoot the next day, and Dixon called his friend Justin on the phone and told him everything that happened, and was unaware of any human resource representatives who he could report the assault to. Derek had no one to turn and nowhere to and nowhere to go to save him, is what he said. And the next day, Perry acted like nothing happened. He didn't even offer Dixon an apology. Following this exchange, Dixon began to avoid Perry as much as possible. However, Perry still felt the need to, Following this exchange, Dixon began to avoid Perry as much as possible. However, Dixon still felt the need to answer Perry's incessant text messages. So he changed his approach. Dixon often pretended to be asleep to avoid being harassed. However, the text messages were persisted by texting the following: Are you awake? Stop ignoring me. You are awake, Derek. Wake up. I know you're not sleeping. And give me attention. Ooh, Lord, child. This is crazy. Now we're in October. This man has had a year of hell. In October of 2020, Perry invited Dixon and others from the Oval on a cast trip. Perry's personal island in the Bahamas. Oh no. Dixon knew, as everyone else on the show, that declining going on this trip could get you erased from the show. Dixon agreed to go, knowing that the whole cast was going to be there. Then on the night, one night while Perry was on the private island in the Bahamas, the cast was partying. And at the end of the night, Perry told Dixon that he wanted to talk to him, which caught Dixon off guard. Oh, Lord. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on. Okay. So he asked to talk to him. This catches Dixon off guard. Perry made alcoholic drinks and forced Dixon to drink with him. Dixon knew that he could not refuse to drink. Otherwise, he would risk upsetting Tyler Perry. Instead, Dixon tried to stay in control, and he just sipped the drink slowly. Hold on, let me read ahead, child. I want to make sure that I don't put something on screen that shouldn't be here. Hold on one second. Okay. So he said that even though he tried to control himself, that Tyler Perry did not control himself. He drank until it was clear that the alcohol made him bold and very, very aggressive. Perry told Dixon that he wanted a relationship with someone that could be emotionally and actually available to him. So this is a change, because at the beginning he said that he wanted him to have a relationship with someone else so that he could, have his emotional attention someplace else, and he only wanted physical. But now he's saying that he wants someone who is both emotionally and intimately available to him. He also said that Dixon needed to be with someone rich because he liked nice things. And then Perry told Dixon that he was watching all the cast as they laid out in the sun with their tanning oil, and how he liked seeing Dixon all greased up like that. Yikes. Tyler said that he would have burnt a hole in the island if one of the other actors had groped or touched Dixon. Jesus. At this point, Dixon is again not reciprocating. He's freezing up. Perry got the message and told Dixon to just go to bed. Dixon was terrified and could barely sleep. From that moment on, he said that Perry became extremely frustrated and possessive. Perry wanted desperately for Dixon to be attracted to him, but Dixon was not. In one exchange, Perry had sent a picture of himself. Let me put that up. This is the picture. You can see Tyler beside a jet ski. So he sends this picture of himself. And Dixon responds to Tyler Perry, that the water looked nice. Perry gets upset and said, "You don't see that stud in the picture?" And instead, Dixon says, yes, I see the stud. And Tyler responds, asshole. So he called Dixon an asshole for not immediately saying something about Tyler's physique, I guess. Jesus. All right, let's move on, child. Now we're around October 18th. They are back from the Bahamas. Perry tells Dixon that he is jealous that Dixon is giving way too much attention to other men. Perry stated that Dixon was being too much of a social butterfly and that he needed Dixon to sit still this week, further attempting to exercise influence over Dixon's interaction with other men. Perry continued to wield his position as Dixon's boss, demanding intimate attention from him in exchange for continued employment. And then he started sending him other messages. Like, you know what I cook, Derek? He responded, spaghetti, cake. And he went, you. I'm so drunk just talking shit. So he said that what? He said, you know who I cook? And Derek tried to be cute. I don't know, spaghetti, cake. He said, you. I'm a cook, you. Child, what does that even mean? What does it mean for someone to say they're going to cook you? Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Yeah, it's getting worse, y'all. He said this is the stuff that he actually was documenting. So he has way better notes as it's moving forward, right? Yes, he does. Anyway, the pattern of behavior continued. Dixon had no one to turn to. Dixon actually visits a physician who indicated that Dixon was exhibiting severe symptoms of acute stress, insomnia, stomach issues, and dangerously low cortisol levels due to the harassment he was experiencing. He ends up prescribing him Zoloft, and it stopped nothing. He said that now we are in the beginning of 2021, and he said that he's still receiving text messages and photos. Tyler is still sending him photos of him, okay, of Derek on set. Tyler's taking the pictures and sending those pictures to him, along with messages like, oh my God, look at thick Derek. No, the weight difference, I can see it. Thick Derek. Okay, good. Nope, I can't deal with thick Derek. What's it going to take for you to have guiltless relations? Have you found that in therapy yet? What's your waist? I'm so glad thick Derek is back. He's back with us. Break out in what? I don't know what this means. I'm so sorry. I'm reading ahead, but I don't know what it means. Breakout in ass and thighs, but I don't know what that means. Is he saying that there's some sort of breakout? Like, what? What does that mean? You home? I don't want you out with your friends drinking. You are the rose, but you are so black that you refuse to be smelt. When are you going to be able to finally unlock your mind? You're going to make a person crazy in a good way. Have you been intimate with someone? That I don't know. I don't know how he didn't just go. This would make me sick. Anyways, he said, why did that photo of another cast member make me jealous? I read that earlier. He says it's just blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh yeah, thick Derek, go get those Chipotle. No, I can't. Only from your jeans. Derek is there to make me swoon. What I mean by that is that you're so beautiful that when you're finally able to unlock your mind, you're going to make that person crazy in a good way. I don't know what this means. Derek responds, as long as my face don't get messed up and as long as it doesn't leave a mark. I don't know what that means. And then Tyler responds back to him, what would leave a mark, Derek? Say it. On your neck? What do you mean? If you haven't been intimate with someone, what do you mean? What does that mean? I'm so confused. I thought those text messages were confusing before. This is even more confusing. Let me see if y'all know. Because I'm look, child. I think we're all confused. He goes on to say, no straight man is going to go on walks with you or cook dinner for you unless they want to F you. I would F you. And then he talks about a girl. What are you doing hanging out with that girlfriend of yours? She wants you too. Everyone wants to F you. And he calls him Jacob. And he's referring to his character in the Losing It pilot. So in the story that he wrote, he's now calling him the character out of that. You're Jacob. Everyone wants to F you. This is also a mind game that keeps you locked into bullshit. After weeks of unreciprocated innuendos and demands for attention, Perry lashed out at Dixon. This isn't just weeks, child. This is months. Perry lashed out at Dixon on set and asked if he needed to punch him in the stomach for Dixon to act the way Perry envisioned on the scene. So now he's physically threatening him while he's on set. He's saying, this exchange was highly tense and Perry's reaction stunned several cast members. Actors on the set consoled Dixon for the abrasive interaction, confused as to why Perry overreacted in such a manner. But Dixon knew that Perry was lashing out due to the frustration at the lack of attention that Dixon was giving him. On or around June 4th, 2021, Perry invites Dixon to the house again to spend time together and to discuss the pilot Losing It. Although Dixon hesitated, he feared the consequences of disappointing him, and so he went. During the visit, Perry made more alcoholic beverages and demanded to know why Dixon wasn't having relationships with anyone, not just him, but why aren't you with another person? Perry probed further about Dixon's life, insisting that the two were becoming increasingly drunk and that it was time to end the night. This is so crazy. Okay, hold on, y'all. Let me get to another part because this is just it's the same cycle over and over again. I'm sure you guys understand what's happening here. It's the same thing. It's more groping and all of that, but I'm going to go past this because this is getting long and obnoxious. Okay. All right. I got to a new part. We are at March of 2024. Tyler Perry indicated that Dixon, who was meant to pitch the pilot. Okay, hold on. In or around March of 2024, Perry indicated to Derek Dixon that the individual who was meant to pitch the pilot became depressed and could no longer pitch the show. So he had made promises to Derek that he was going to help him get this show on either Netflix or one of those kind of things, right? And now he's saying to him, hey, the person who was supposed to pitch, he's depressed. He's not able to do it anymore. So dangling the carrot and taking it back. And now Derek is saying, I realized that Tyler is never going to sell this show. He's never going to try to sell it. So he's saying this to himself. Dixon did not get angry. Dixon did not get angry and allowed Perry more time to figure things out about the show. So he knows that this is true, but he's just saying, listen, I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm just going to let him tell me he's going to figure it out or whatever. He's still being harassed by Perry in every way but loose, okay, with all that stuff. And then later, Perry told Dixon that Netflix actually turned his show idea down. So after hanging it in front of his face, he tells him, listen, actually, Netflix turned it down. And it's interesting because Dixon said, I was never contacted by anybody from Netflix regarding this show. I never heard about a sale or anything that had materialized. In or around June 2024, Perry, sensing that Dixon was getting frustrated, offered Dixon a position as a writer, saying that he needed to replace some of the other people. So now he's offering him a writer's job. It was only then that Dixon woke up and realized that Perry was never going to be serious about helping him. Perry was only going to do things for Dixon if Dixon played along and, gave Perry what he was asking for. Perry was only interested in preventing Dixon from exposing the dark side of him. Perry only cared about the people who still viewed him as he was before, but not as a victimizer. Dixon became sick to his stomach. He's basically saying now that he knows the darker side of Perry, Perry's not going to help him with anything. He's only interested in people who idolizes him and sees him as a good person. So he's saying that his time is done with Tyler Perry, okay? Now it is saying quid pro quo harassment, which is basically every time Tyler offered him something, there was an advance saying, listen, in order to get this, you have to do this. To get this, you have to do this. So they were saying that is what this is listing. I'm going to try to get through this a little faster, you guys. Sorry, just because it's so long. But at the end of the day, they're saying that a reasonable person, and a reasonable person being a jury or judge, would recognize that Dixon's circumstances was work environment, hostile work environment, intimidation. It was offensive, it was oppressive, and it was abusive. It was also hostile. And there was no way that he could have been constructively terminated. I know that he filed with the EEOC, and I was trying to find out if there was anything written here about it, but I couldn't see that. He also said that Tyler Perry represented all branches of his business. He was the human resources department, and anything that went to any other member of his staff always worked its way back to Tyler Perry. So he's saying there was no way that he could effectively report any of the behavior that was happening. The plaintiff, Derek Dixon, suffered physical sickness, physical injuries, body pains, anxiety, worry, embarrassment, humiliation, injury to his professional reputation, mental anguish, emotional distress, post-traumatic stress, and all of it will be proven at trial. The plaintiff is entitled to recover reasonable attorney fees, pre-judgment interest in connection to the matter. And at the end of it, it basically says, let me just get on down there, child, that he is looking for punitive damages totaling $260 million. So 46 pages, like I said, and you guys probably can find them on the internet. I tried to show y'all as much as I could without getting my channel dinged and read to y'all. But this is what is being alleged. This is very detailed toward the end. It tells a lot of stuff. Tyler Perry, as I shared with y'all, have denied this. His lawyer made a statement after it came out yesterday. I'll read that statement to you. Hold on. The statement is that he's emphasizing that all allegations made by Derek Dixon are false, they're fraudulent, and it is a part of a shakedown. And that is it. That's how he's handling it. False, fraudulent, and part of a shakedown. Okay? Emphasizing that all allegations are. All right. Y'all, we have been on here for 2 hours and my voice is dry. My throat is dry. Let's see. I'm sorry, but this is a shakedown. I don't care for Tyler Perry, and I can see the manipulation and framing that Dixon is attempting is fraud-like. Okay. So I told y'all some people see it, some people may not. Someone else said he's just lying. Another person said he doesn't have the power and professional backing of a Monique or a Keys. He's small fish. It's interesting to see if this goes to trial. Thank you, Gina G. I appreciate you. Somebody else said he's a dirty liar. Do you know if he took this to criminal court? So I explained this a little bit earlier. This is a civil filing. Civilians cannot make criminal. We can actually go to the police and report it, but we can't file criminal charges. Criminal charges are filed after a prosecutor or someone in the prosecutor's office reviews everything that we said. Okay, if you went to the police department and said I was robbed and beaten up, someone is going to review my case and then say, I'm going to take this to court. This is a criminal charge. And I know that this person has done this so many times, but it's very possible that someone can also say, hey, you don't have a case. I understand that you got beat up, but there isn't anything that we can do. And so it is really up to a prosecutor to make those charges. He is filing a criminal charge in LA, California. I think the county of LA is looking into it to make a criminal charge. But that was what came out on Friday, and there hasn't been anything else said. So they got to do an investigation, but it could become that. We shall see. Diana, this was a great breakdown. Thank you for taking your time to read these court docs. Oh, you're welcome. This was a lot. Hopefully I did a good job because I can't go back and listen to it. I don't have the energy. Yeah, this was very hard to read. I don't have the energy to read this again. And so we'll see what happens next. But yeah, you are the first that I've seen give this information, and I'm a new subscriber. Thank you for giving more thorough your need for hydration. Yes, I do need to get some water. But yes, okay, that's it, y'all. I love you guys. Thank y'all for hanging out with me, spending your morning with me. I appreciate you. Make sure you hit the like button on your way out. Make sure you become a subscriber if you are not already. We shall see what happens next. This is all allegations. All things are alleged, right? He has not been found guilty of anything. This is someone making an accusation, but we do know that he did work for Tyler Perry. That's true. And he's also insinuating in the paperwork that this has happened to others. So we shall see if other people jump on the bandwagon if they file charges as well. Okay. But outside of that, I appreciate every single one of y'all for rocking with me. Make sure you're following me on all my platforms at DYANAROZAY. Hit the like button on your way out, please, and thank you. Become a subscriber. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.